Hello everyone. I welcome you all in the third lecture of the lecture series of the course Utilization of Electrical Energy and Traction. In last lecture, we have discussed resistance heating in detail. We are going to discuss yet another type of heating known as arc heating in this particular lecture. Now what is arc? आप इमेजिन करिए कि यू हैव टू इलेक्ट्रोड्स विच आर इन कॉन्टैक्ट विद ईच अदर एंड यू अप्लाई हाई वोल्टेज अक्रॉस देम. They are touched to establish the flow of current. Now what happens if they are moved by a small distance or they are separated by a small gap? While doing so, the medium between the electrodes will undergo breakdown and a glow will appear which is shown in the image below. आप नीचे देख सकते हैं कि हमने इलेक्ट्रोड्स को एक छोटे से स्मॉल डिस्टेंस से जब सेपरेट किया तो a glow is appearing. This glow is nothing but an arc. So we can say that an arc is generated between the two conductors of electricity, cathode and anode, when they are touched to establish the flow of current and then separated by a small distance. So an arc is a sustained electric discharge through the ionized gas column called plasma between the two electrodes. Now the question arises, can this arc be utilized anywhere? So yes, this arc can be very well utilized in the arc furnace for heating purpose. Now what are arc furnaces? So we are going to discuss this very particular topic in this whole lecture. So the arc furnace, it is used for melting or extraction of ferrous and non-ferrous materials, and this furnace, they operate at quite a high temperature. Now one of the method is through production of electric arc, which gives an arc temperature between 3000 degrees Celsius to 3500 degrees Celsius on LT operation. Now arc is nothing but a flow of current through an air gap between two conducting bodies. Now what are the methods of striking an arc? मतलब हमारे पास क्या क्या methods हो सकते हैं जिससे हम arc को produce कर पाएँ, and जैसे हम arc को produce करेंगे उसी के हिसाब से we are going to use that temperature of the arc for our heating purpose. So broadly there are two methods of striking an arc between two electrodes. On one of the methods is HT strike method, and yet another method is LT strike method. So we are going to discuss them one by one in detail. Now starting with the HT method of striking an arc, so we are going to discuss this particular figure given in the slide very carefully. Here you can see there is an AC input which is given or which is connected through a potential divider. Now potential divider is basically used for changing or adjusting the magnitude of the input or the primary voltage. Now this potential divider, this AC input is connected to the LV side, or you can say LT side also, that is the low voltage side of the transformer. Now you can very well see the isolation between the primary and the secondary side, and the high voltage side or HT side you can also say. The high voltage side is connected to the two electrodes. You can see electrode 1 and electrode 2. Now हम इसे HT method of striking arc ही क्यों बोल रहे हैं? Because you can see the electrodes are connected to the high voltage side of the transformer. That's why we are saying this method is the HT method of striking an arc. So particularly हम इस method में arc को produce कर कैसे रहे हैं? Let us discuss. Here you can see that a constant gap is maintained across the pair of electrodes. ठीक है, हम consider करते हैं कि हमारी जो electrode है it is made up of carbon and we have maintained a constant separation or distance between the two electrodes. जो भी आपके electrodes हैं आप देख रहे हैं it is connected to the high voltage side as we have discussed, and primary is fed with the AC variable voltage. हमने primary को AC input के साथ जो है वो connect किया हुआ है. तो अगर हम लोग को आर्क स्ट्राइक करनी है वी हैव टू इंक्रीज द प्राइमरी वोल्टेज वेरी ग्रेजुअली. हम धीरे धीरे प्राइमरी वोल्टेज को इंक्रीज करते जाएंगे. जब हम प्राइमरी वोल्टेज को ग्रेजुअली इंक्रीज करेंगे तो बाय ट्रांसफॉर्मर एक्शन ऑब्वियसली द हाई टेंशन वोल्टेज अक्रॉस द सेकेंडरी इलेक्ट्रोड्स विल ऑल्सो इंक्रीज, क्योंकि आपका वही चेंज सेकेंडरी साइड में भी रिफ्लेक्ट होगा. नाउ अ स्टेज विल कम, एक ऐसी स्टेज आएगी व्हेन द मीडियम बिटवीन द टू इलेक्ट्रोड्स इज आयोनाइज्ड. दोनों के बीच इलेक्ट्रोड 1 और इलेक्ट्रोड 2 के बीच का जो एयर गैप है दैट विल बी आयोनाइज्ड एंड इट बिकम्स कंडक्टिंग. So it is at that very stage when an arc is struck between the two electrodes. जैसे ही मीडियम आपका आयनाइज होगा इट विल स्टार्ट कंडक्टिंग, वैसे ही आपको आर्क अपीयर होनी शुरू हो जाएगी. जैसे ही हमारी आर्क अपीयर होती है, सो वी डोंट नीड टू अप्लाई सच अ हाई वोल्टेज बिकॉज द आर्क हैज़ बीन ऑलरेडी इस्टेब्लिश्ड. सो उस केस में जो भी हमने हाई वोल्टेज अप्लाई किया हुआ था, वी कैन रिड्यूस इट फ्रॉम हाई वोल्टेज टू लो वोल्टेज. नाउ सिंस द कंडक्टिंग गैप बिटवीन द टू इलेक्ट्रोड हैज़ नाउ नेग्लिजिबली लो रेजिस्टेंस एज कम्पेयर टू द गैप रेजिस्टेंस बिफोर स्ट्राइकिंग द आर्क. So the HT required is dependent on the size and nature of the gap, but runs into thousands of volts. So again I am repeating what I have taught in the previous slide, that in this method a constant gap is maintained across the pair of electrodes, and we consider that it is made up of carbon. Now the electrodes are connected across the high voltage side of the step-up transformer. The primary is fed with the variable AC voltage as shown in the previous slide. To strike the arc, the primary input voltage is gradually increased, thus increasing the high tension voltage across the secondary electrodes. Now stage will come when the medium between the two electrodes is ionized and becomes conducting. So it is at that stage that when the arc is struck between the two electrodes. And after the striking of the arc, the potential difference across the electrodes has to be reduced from high voltage to low voltage, since the conducting gap between the two electrodes has now negligibly low resistance, and as compared to the gap resistance as that of before striking the arc. Now the high voltage required is dependent upon the size and nature of the gap, but still it is quite very high. Now whereas if we talk about the low voltage method or low tension method of striking the arc, जहाँ पर हम पहले केस में प्रीवियस केस में बहुत ही हाई वोल्टेज को यूज़ कर रहे थे एंड वी हैव कनेक्टेड द इलेक्ट्रोड अक्रॉस द हाई वोल्टेज साइड ऑफ द ट्रांसफार्मर, इन दिस पर्टिकुलर मेथड वी विल यूज़ अ लो वोल्टेज ऑफ द ऑर्डर ऑफ द मेंस वोल्टेज टू स्ट्राइक द आर्क. हमें इतनी ज़्यादा हाई वोल्टेज यूज़ करने की ज़रूरत नहीं है, हमने इसको लो वोल्टेज साइड ऑफ द ट्रांसफार्मर में ही कनेक्ट कर दिया है. और in this case the electrodes are connected to the low voltage side of the transformer and they are momentarily short circuited and immediately separated, resulting in the production of the arc. ये मेथड जो है वो comparatively suitable मेथड है and ज़्यादा convenient है if I compare it with the previous method. Now again these furnaces can be subdivided into two categories. The first one, as you can see, is the direct arc furnace, and second one is the indirect arc furnace. Now as the name is suggesting, direct arc furnace का मतलब क्या है कि the metal which we are going to heat, it is in direct contact with the arc which we have ignited. So when the arc is struck between the electrode and the charge to be heated, जो हम arc struck कर रहे हैं between the electrode और जो charge हमको heat करना है, the arc current flows through the charge directly. वो जो current है that is flowing through the charge and there is a direct contact between the arc and the charge. So it is the case of the direct arc furnace. Now इस particular method के advantages क्या हैं? Obvious सी बात है, क्योंकि हमारा जो current है जो हमने arc से produce किया है that is in the direct contact with the charge, so heating will be faster in this case. Also heating efficiency will be very high because there is no much losses of heat. Direct आपका जो heat है वो charge में ही apply हो रही है, and in addition to arc heat, additional heat is produced by the current passing through the charge undergoing the heat. Whereas अगर मैं second case की बात करूँ, which is nothing but the indirect arc furnace, as the name is suggesting, आप जो भी heat produce कर रहे हैं with the help of an arc, it is not in direct contact with the charge. So heat produced by the arc setup between the two electrodes does the heating indirectly in this case. The arc does not come in contact with the charge but heat is transferred through radiation. Please mark my words कि यहाँ पे जो भी heat transfer हो रहा है that is not by the direct contact but it is transferred through radiation from arc to the top layer of charge. आर्क से जो टॉप लेयर ऑफ चार्ज है वहाँ से आपकी रेडिएशन से हीट ट्रांसफ़र हो रहा है एंड थ्रू कंडक्शन फ्रॉम टॉप लेयर टू द बॉटम लेयर्स इन द चार्ज. सो इन दिस मेथड आपका रेडिएशन से हीट ट्रांसफ़र हो रहा है और कंडक्शन से भी हीट ट्रांसफ़र हो रहा है. We have studied in the very first lecture of this course that there are three modes of heat transfer: conduction, radiation and convection. You can refer to the previous video for that, for the clarification. So I hope this particular slide is clear to you. Now electrically, if I talk about the indirect arc furnace, they are further subdivided into two categories. The first one is the conducting bottom and the second one is the non-conducting bottom. As the name is suggesting, conducting bottom का मतलब है कि आपका जो heat transfer है that is taking place with the help of the bottom of the vessel in which your heating is taking place, or where your charge is placed. Whereas in the non-conducting type of bottom, आप देख रहे हैं कि आपका जो bottom है that is completely insulated. That means heating process में आपका bottom part of the vessel है, it is not contributing at all. So if I talk about the former case, the bottom of the furnace as a part of electric circuit, we can say that bottom is the part of the electric circuit, whereas no current flows through the body of the furnace in the second case में आपका कोई भी conduction process में bottom part involved नहीं है. Most of the furnace which are of the non-conducting bottom type due to the insulation problem face in case of the conducting bottom. Now here comes a very important topic, that what are the basic electrical requirements of an arc furnace. हमें क्या क्या चीज़ें ध्यान रखनी है while maintaining और creating an arc furnace, या heating के दौरान भी हमें क्या चीज़ें we have to keep in mind. So the first one we have to keep in mind is the supply to the electrodes. Now the electrodes have to be short circuited momentarily and then separated from the charge inside the furnace, which requires a low voltage on the secondary and high reactance transformer winding. So for this purpose, the furnace transformer has a high reactance as 35% and multiple tappings on the secondary. Primary की जो line voltage है that is approximately in the range of 11 kilovolts, while secondary varies between 340 to 400 volts on the line side. The bus bars supplied by this multiple tape secondary are connected through flexible cables capable of carrying hundreds to thousands of amperes of current, and it will obviously depend upon the melting capacity of the furnace. The subsequent change of supply to the electrodes result in the temperature control of the charge or the melt which we are going to work upon. Now if I talk about the arc stability, आपका arc कितना stable है, because we are using that arc only for the heating purpose. So we need कि हमारा जो arc produce हुआ है that should be quite stable for the operation, right? So alternative striking of the arc, अगर हम बार बार arc को quench कर रहे हैं, फिर दोबारा से ignite कर रहे हैं, फिर दोबारा quench कर रहे हैं, फिर दोबारा control कर रहे हैं, so alternative striking of the arc, the electrodes may burn out gradually. It may lead to the deterioration process of the electrodes. So in that case, the electrodes may burn out gradually, thereby increasing the length of the arc, which will extinguish if the gap is not maintained properly. So also secondly, the resistance of the metal undergoing melting changes gradually with the rise of temperature. Now both these factors change the magnitude of the arc current. The effect is transmitted with the help of current transformers. So we have to employ the current transformers here, and which is connected to the automatic regulator circuit, which adjusts the height of the electrodes during the melting process. Now the stability of the arc for a fixed gap is further increased due to high reactance of the furnace transformer. Now if I talk about the overcurrent or ground or leakage fault protection, so we know the fact that except for a momentarily short circuit, the furnace is not supposed to draw the overcurrent. By overcurrent I mean more than the furnace rating current. So for this purpose, the current transformers, it need to operate a relay circuit tripping the oil circuit breaker. Now tripping can be due to 11 kilovolts main voltage fluctuation as well, but we have to provide some sort of protection for the overcurrent conditions. Now isolation of the furnace from the supply. When metal scrap has to be charged into the furnace और हमें slag को remove करना हो चाहे furnace से, so the furnace has to be disconnected from the supply. So इस purpose के लिए we employ basically an isolator switch which is connected to the oil circuit breaker and the furnace transformer. So जैसे ही हमें isolate करने की ज़रूरत पड़ती है for the charging purpose or for the removal of slag purpose, the oil circuit breaker is stripped off and line operator will be opened. Also, a second isolator is provided between the mains and the oil circuit breaker. This is necessary to disconnect the oil circuit breaker from the line during maintenance and repair point of view as well. Now, frequent tripping carbonizes the oil of the breaker and burns the contact, which have to be taken care of periodically. Now lastly, the selection of electrode material. The electrodes which we generally use in arc type of furnace is either carbon type or we can say it is graphite. Now the latter is the refined and specially treated form of carbon and has 4 times the conductivity. The carbon electrodes on the other hand are cheap and have a current density of approximately 8 to 15 ampere per centimeter square, whereas the current density, if I talk about the graphite, it is approximately in the range of 32 to 60 ampere per centimeter square for graphite. Now thus we can say by looking at the current rating that the carbon is suitable for low capacity arc furnace only. What about the mechanical requirements? हमारी mechanical requirements क्या होनी चाहिए for the proper working of the arc furnace? The first one is the charging. For charging purpose, the roof as a whole, हमारा जो कंटेनर है उसका रूफ को ही हम चार्जिंग पर्पस के लिए यूज़ कर सकते हैं. एंड बाय हेयर चार्जिंग मीन्स आपका इलेक्ट्रिकल चार्जिंग नहीं, जैसे हम फ़ोन चार्ज करते हैं, लैपटॉप चार्ज करते हैं. इट इज़ नॉट दैट टाइप ऑफ चार्जिंग. हेयर चार्जिंग मीन्स पुटिंग द मोल्टन मटेरियल और द मटेरियल एज अ होल विच वी वांट टू हीट. हम उस मटेरियल को कैसे अपने फर्नेस के अंदर पुट करते हैं फॉर uniform heating, that is known as charging in this particular case. Fine. So for charging purpose, the roof as a whole along with the electrode supporting column shifts to one side with furnace for 4 tons capacity and above. That means अगर हमारा चार्ज जो है वो 4 टन का है या 4 टन से ज़्यादा वेट का है, सो हम चार्ज कहाँ से करेंगे, हम कहाँ से पुट करेंगे अपनी फर्नेस में अपने मटेरियल को? फ्रॉम द रूफ और फ्रॉम द टॉप पोर्शन. Now the iron or other metallic scrap is crane loaded into the furnace and hammered with hanging loads. और अगर हमारा जो चार्ज का वेट वो बहुत ज़्यादा नहीं है, it is less than 4 tons or even less than that, so door charging is possible for small furnaces. हम एक छोटा सा door inbuilt बना सकते हैं उसमें and we can put the charge inside the furnace with the help of that door. Now what about the removal of melt and slag? Obviously बात है आपका चार्ज अब फर्नेस के अंदर जा चुका है. So जैसे ही वो हीट होगा, when your heating process will take place, धीरे धीरे उसमें because of the oxidation and other factors also आपका slag produce होगा. So that slag has to be removed at proper intervals so that आपका जो heating process हो वो uniform हो, ज़्यादा अच्छा हो. So when the melt is ready, the front door called tapping spout is open and the furnace is tilted. आप furnace को थोड़ा सा tilt कर देते हैं by an angle of approximately 45 degree, which throws the melt into a ladle pit provided for the purpose from where it is distributed for the specific operations. अगर आपको slag को remove करना हो तो the furnace is tilted backwards by 15 degree and the slag door is opened. This results into discharge of slag into a slag pit. Now what about the shell and lining structure? We know that shell is made up of steel and cylindrical in shape. It has 2 doors for tapping and slag removal opposite to each other, where roof is detachable, otherwise charging door is an extra provision. It is desirable that if the working furnace is air or leak proof, it avoids contamination of atmosphere from furnace fumes and provides controlled atmosphere heating facilities. The inner surface of the sheet steel has to be lined with something heat resistance. आप obviously बात है आपको heat resistance चाहिए so that your heat produced is confined to the workspace only and it do not contaminates the outer environment. and also it prevents the leakage of heat from the melt to the steel shell of the chamber. The lining can be basic or acidic in nature depending upon the nature of the melt, and are different for different working temperatures. So what are the different type of refractory materials? refractory materials मतलब वो material जो आप अपने furnace के अंदर लगा रहे हैं so as आपकी जो heat produce हुई है that is not escaped into the atmosphere, जिससे कि आपका जो हीटिंग कंडीशन है वो एकदम ऑप्टिमम बनी रहे. यू गेट द मैक्सिमम हीट फॉर योर वर्क पीस और आपकी हीट की वेस्टेज ना हो. सो व्हाट आर सम ऑफ द रिफ्रेक्टिव मटेरियल्स विच वी यूज फॉर ऑप्टिमम वर्किंग टेम्परेचर्स? Here I have listed some of the few. Some of them are mullite or clay bonded fused alumina, impervious alumina or zirconia. Maximum temperature at which the particular material operates is also given. जैसे mullite है, it works at an operating temperature of 1600 degrees Celsius, whereas if you talk about zirconia, it can operate up to the temperature of 2460, which is quite high. So depending on the application or the material which we are heating, you can use following refractory materials for your arc furnace lining. Now coming to the last type of arc furnace, here we are having the indirect sort of arc furnace. Now this figure shows a rocking arc furnace which works on the principle of indirect arc only. इस केस में हम सिंगल फेज AC यूज़ करते हैं, दैट टू अ लो वोल्टेज, एंड इट इज़ अप्लाइड अक्रॉस द इलेक्ट्रोड्स. नाउ द आर्क इज स्ट्रक बाय शॉर्ट सर्किटिंग द इलेक्ट्रोड्स ईदर मैनुअली या फिर हम ऑटोमेटिकली भी कर सकते हैं फॉर अ मोमेंट बाय ड्रॉइंग दीज अपार्ट. Now the heat from the arc is transferred to the charged top layer and refractory lining through radiation, and from top layer of the charge to the other portion of the charge through conduction. Here again I am repeating it कि indirect arc furnace में हम लोग चार्ज को डायरेक्टली इलेक्ट्रोड्स के कॉन्टैक्ट में नहीं लाते हैं. द हीट इज़ नॉट डायरेक्टली फ्लोन थ्रू द चार्ज. इंस्टेड यहाँ पे जो हीट ट्रांसफ़र है इट इज़ टेकिंग प्लेस विद द हेल्प ऑफ रेडिएशन और योर कंडक्शन. To distribute the heat properly, the furnace has to be rocked continuously. This has to be kept in mind कि अगर हमें अपनी हीट की डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन बहुत ही प्रॉपर करनी है, यूनिफॉर्म करनी है, the furnace has to be rocked continuously. Rocked continuously मतलब आपको थोड़ा बहुत मूव करना पड़ेगा, हिलाना पड़ेगा अपने फर्नेस को, which exposes further layers not only to the heat transferred from the arc, जो कि आपका further layers को expose करेगा हीट के ऊपर in order to have the uniform heating, but also from the exposed lining. Now in which way it will help? This results in prolonging the life of the lining as well as rocking a portion of the lining is not continuously exposed to the heat as in the case of non-rocking furnace. Now one thing which have to be kept in mind is that since the unit is working on a single phase, it may lead to the grate imbalance. A grate imbalance will result if the furnace transformer without three-phase primary is not used. The furnace are not supposed to handle melting beyond 1 ton for the same reason. The work unit quite efficiently due to the totally enclosed construction, and the carbon electrodes further improve the quality of ferrous melts. Now for that purpose, special motors with reduction gears and reversing directions are also used for rocking. So I hope this video was helpful to you. See you in the next one. Till then, take care.